welcome back to another episode of 12-inch Figure Fanatic. Today we're going to open up EXO-6's Star Trek 7 of 9. I've been looking forward to this figure for a while, and I have to admit, I always tingle a little bit when I have EXO-6 figure on the way, because out of all of the brands out there, this one has some of the most crisp. I'd say it's a tie between this and Blitzway as far as mainstream stuff goes. So I'm really looking forward to opening this up. Let's take a closer look. All right. I have to admit that when Star Trek Voyager was on the air originally, I did have a little bit of a crush on 7 of 9. Very nice outfit of hers, although Star Trek Enterprise, what's her name, the Vulcan, she was a little bit more attractive eventually. If you watch Picard, though, the most recent series with her in it, turns out that she's a lesbian, or at least goes both ways. So, back of the box, you got a display of all the things that come with the figure. You got a window on the front of the box. So Captain Janeway, I forget what her real name is, Kate Mulgrew, I want to say, maybe, I don't know. She would later be a Russian character in Orange is the New Black, and had gained quite a bit of weight by then. All right, wow. Okay, so, wow, look at the shape on her. Very accurate curves on her, I would say. There's a little bit of rubberized feel to the arms and the legs. So, let's see. Yep, as I suspected, it's seamless. Yep, seamless in the knees too. So they didn't necessarily have to do that because obviously it's covered with clothing and it's not visible, but they took care to do so, just in case some of those creases from the hinges and the folds in the joints would have showed if they didn't go with a seamless body. So I appreciate them going the extra mile. I know that's at expense to them to do so. There's some texture to the outfit in the center here, on the back, just like in the show. The stitching, just like in the show. The emblem, I would have preferred to be metal, but it is made out of plastic. Detailed enough, though. The shoes, there's a little bit, actually a little bit too much ply in the ankle on both sides, but definitely more so on this one. So you got to be careful with that because it doesn't seem like it would stand too easily, even with the stand. But it's got like sort of this attached bottom of the shoe here with the heel. Oh, look at that rump. My goodness. But even on that, yeah, you can't tell any seam there. So from the side, from the back, you can't really tell. I love it. They did a good job there. So obviously one of her hands has still got some Borg features to it. That's detailed appropriately. It could be a little bit darker maybe, actually. Not just sort of a whitish silver, but can't tell really. Now the head sculpt itself, something does look slightly off, and I can't quite tell what it is. But it's definitely in the paint job, not the head sculpt. Otherwise, it looks awesome. You got the Borg feature there, Borg feature here. Good detailing on that. There could be a little bit more gloss to the eyes, but it's good enough. But that looks great. I mean, especially from the front. Look at it from a distance. It almost looks like a sculpture, not even a figure, because sometimes sculptures that are out these days can achieve a lot more detail than the posable figures. But this definitely achieves that. I love it. Let's see what else it comes with here. So you got the phase rifle. Any moving parts on here? No, but painted well enough. Just like with all of the EXO figures, you've got the magnetic tricorder, so that you can either pose it like that or have it closed like that, and it's magnetic either way. And then of course it's got the holder, which matches the color of her outfit. Must have been very expensive for Starfleet to have all of these holders matching her outfits, because she wasn't always wearing that color. And same thing with the phaser, very nice, and matching holder there, right? And magnetic, right? So we'll see that in a bit. And a pad. The inspiration for the iPad that would come from Apple. And looks more like Wolverine claws, but I don't necessarily remember this in the show, but I guess she has this come out of her hand at some point. Then you have several other hands for holding and posing. And then we have the base. And there's a very unique system on their bases that I pointed out in previous episodes. They have these, they come with these clips here. And with the clips, you're able to connect all of the other EXO-6 figures in the Star Trek line, so that it looks like one big transporter deck. So this simply goes in here, right? And then you've also got this, so you could switch it out. If you don't want to do the transporter look, you can put this in there instead. The top plastic, clear plastic plate removes. And I don't know what this is. We're going to find out in the next segment. And is that it? Oh, I got something underneath, which is the display card, another feature of EXO. So this is not a trading card. It actually goes in front. Starfleet Museum Archives. And Anika Hansen, aka 7 of 9. So maybe it would have been nice if there's a photo there, right? A reference photo to compare it to the figure itself. And I pointed this out the first time, that to make Starfleet Museum Archives the largest font on this card, knowing basic from Graphic Arts 101, you want priority to be on the name, right? Because that's what you're describing here, is the person, right? And that could be a footnote. They did it the opposite, so I don't necessarily like that, but interesting feature. All right, let's put this figure together and I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, so here's the figure on display. Like I said, you have this card here that goes into the little peg, and this way you could display it like this. That obscure object that was wrapped up was a belt, and it's a magnetic belt. See the magnets on this side. So there's no magnets built into the figure itself. It's on the belt, which is unique. The other figures, that's not like that. It's in the figure. But the accessories just attach like that, and then you attach the belt from the back. So this figure met all my expectations. The only shortcoming, like I said, is just something that seems a little bit off with the head sculpt, the likeness. Other than that, thank you EXO-6 once again for producing a great figure. This is one that was on the wish list for a lot of Star Trek fans or Trekkies for a while, and it's finally here. I'm going to give this figure a 9.6 out of 10. I've been pretty generous lately, but I've also been pretty impressed lately. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you again soon.